So far, our guess and check code has leaned on while loops, but when you're stepping through an exhaustive set of values, a for loop fits more naturally. Today, we'll rebuild guess and check with for loops, use a Boolean flag, and find cube roots fast. Guess and check means trying every candidate in a range until one works. A while loop can do this, but it forces you to manage the counter by hand. A for loop is the better fit because it iterates an exhaustive set of values automatically. Picture the flow. The loop walks through every possible value one at a time. If it finds a solution along the way, great. When it exhausts the list without finding one, that's where we report failure. The for loop grabs the next value for us every time. Here's our first exercise. Hard code a secret number, say secret is set to 4. Then go through every number from 1 to 10 inclusive and announce when you find it. To get 1 through 10 inclusive, we write range of 1, 11, which yields 1, 2, 3, and so on up to but not including 11. The loop variable I takes each of those values, we check. If I is equal to secret, then print the string found. Running it with secret equal to 4. When I reaches 4, the condition is true, so it prints found. With secret set to 100, which is outside the range, nothing prints at all. Now the second version. We also want to announce when the number is not found. The obvious first attempt is to add an else branch that prints not found. But run it with secret equal to 4 and watch what happens. It prints not found 3 times, then found, then not found 6 more times. The problem is structural. The loop checks every value in the range, and on each pass, the if-else fires, printing either found or not found. So you get a verdict on every single number, not one verdict for the whole search. This is the classic beginner trap. Maybe break can rescue it. Add a break right after the found case. Now with secret equal to 4, it prints not found for 1, 2, 3, then found at 4, then breaks out. Better the trailing not found messages are gone, but we still get 3 spurious not founds before the match. So we try adding a second break, this time after the not found print. That breaks out way too early, on the very first pass. With secret equal to 4, the loop checks 1, prints not found, and immediately breaks. So 4 is wrongly reported as not found. Patching with break leads us in circles. The clean fix is a Boolean flag. A Boolean is a variable in one of 2 states, true or false. The idea before the loop, assume the number isn't found, so set a variable to false. Inside the loop, the one place where we truly know we found it is when I is equal to secret. So right there, flip the flag to true. Then, only after the loop has finished, look at the flag to decide what to report. Here it is in code before the loop found is set to false. Inside the loop, if I is equal to secret, we print found and set found to true. After the loop completely outside it, we check. If not found, print not found. There's no else here because the found case was already handled inside the loop. Run it with secret equal to 4. At 4, it prints found and sets the flag. The loop finishes, and since found is now true, the not found line is skipped. Run it with secret equal to 100. Nothing matches, the flag stays false, the loop ends, and we print not found exactly once. That's the behavior we wanted. We can make this even tidier by moving the found message out of the loop too. Inside the loop, we now do just one thing. When I is equal to secret, set found to true. All the reporting happens after the loop. There we write, if not found, print not found, else print found. Run it with secret equal to 100 and it prints not found. Run it with 4 and it prints found. The split is clean. The finding logic lives inside the loop and the reporting logic lives after it. That separation is what makes the flag pattern so readable. Why not just put an else inside the if that checks I is equal to secret? Because that if else runs on every single pass of the loop. Say the secret is 7 and we loop over 1 through 10. 1 isn't the secret, so else fires, 2 isn't, else fires, 3 isn't, else fires, and so on. Only when I reach 7 does the if fire. Every other value, all 9 of them, triggers the else. You'd get a not found on every miss. We only want one verdict at the end, so the not found report belongs after the loop, where it runs once, not on every pass. Step back and compare the two versions side by side. The version that stays silent on a miss is just a for loop with an if that prints found. The version that reports a miss adds 3 things: the flag, initialize to false before the loop, the flag set to true when the number is found, and the after loop check that decides whether to print not found. Same skeleton, 3 small additions. Flags are how you signal that an event happened. Now a new problem that shows for loops shining again. Finding a cube root. We're asking whether a number, which we'll call cube, is a perfect cube. A perfect cube is a whole number times itself 3 times. 2 cubed is 8, 3 cubed is 27, 4 cubed is 64. So the cube root of 27 is 3, because 3 to the power of 3 equals 27. Guess and check is a natural way to find it. Here's the basic version. We loop for guess in range of cube plus 1, checking every value from 0 up through cube. Why cube plus 1? Because range stops 1 short of its argument, and if the user hands us the number 1, we still need to check 1 itself, which is a perfect cube. Inside the loop, if guess to the power of 3 is equal to cube, we found it, so we print guess. Run it with cube equal to 27. The loop checks 0, 1, 2. Then as 3 is 3 cubed is 27, a match, and it prints 3. Negatives need a little extra care, but cubes make it easy, because the cube root of a negative number is just the negative of the cube root of its positive twin. So we search over the absolute value of cube plus 1, and we check if guess to the power of 3 is equal to the absolute value of cube. That finds the magnitude of the root. Then one extra check. If cube was actually negative, we negate guess before printing. Run it with cube equal to negative 27, and it reports the cube root is negative 3. One inefficiency remains. To find the cube root of 27, the loop checks 0, 1, 2, 3, and then keeps grinding through 4, 5, 6, all the way up to 27, even though we already had the answer at 3. Those extra checks are wasted work. We can stop the moment guess cubed reaches the target, and a break is the tool for that. Here's the fast version. Inside the loop, we now break as soon as guess to the power of 3 is greater than or equal to cube, not just equal to it. The greater than or equal is the key. It catches the answer and also stops once we've overshot. With cube equal to 27, the loop breaks at 3. But now we have to figure out why we exited, just like with the square root while loop. Either guess cubed equaled cube or it overshot. So after the loop, if guess cubed is not equal to cube, it overshot, so cube isn't a perfect cube. Otherwise it matched, and we handle the sign and print the root exactly as before. That's the whole journey. For loops fit guess and check naturally, because they iterate an exhaustive set of values for you. A Boolean flag set inside the loop and checked after it lets you report a not found result exactly once instead of on every pass, and break, paired with an if-else that interprets why the loop exited, turns a slow, exhaustive search into a fast one. Same starter code each time, with small bits of power added. To practice what you just learned, this course has free exercises and AI-graded feedback on ludium.ai. The link is in the description.